the diaper, open it, and pour ice into the diaper because the diaper is going to hold all that moisture, but yet the ice is going to be able to sit on your hoo-ha.
So I did not know I needed to prepare for anything I just didn't know. And I talk about this a lot. There's certain things I never prepared for. This was one of them. So the hospital is what really helped me. And they gave me like those little bottles to like rinse yourself because I did tear a lot on my 10-pound baby. Yep. Tear, check. I don't know what it looked like down there, but I promise you I never would have looked. I never looked and I never would look because I was terrified to see what occurred. Yeah. However, that little bottle was awesome, and you put a little bit of witch hazel in it. This is what the nurse told me. Oh. You just pour a little bit of witch hazel inside of the bottle before you use it, and that way, and have it warm. Don't
use cold water.
Don't use it.
Don't use cold water. Not even tap room temperature. It better be warm.
Having like a pad that's saturated in witch hazel and water and freezing that and putting that on there is great. But when you're flushing, especially if you do have a laceration, I don't know what you call it, a rip, down there that was sutured shut, don't use cold water on that. Mm-mm. That's very painful.
Been there and done that. When I had to go back to work, we did not have hot water in our building because you were just washing your hands. So you just got tap room temperature water, and when you would refill that bottle at work.
I was very fortunate that the nurses just told me so much.
Right? Like the nurses do play a big part in having a baby. Yeah,
because I had no idea any of that stuff was important to know. Mm-hmm. I was like, I go to the hospital now. Like, yeah. I didn't have any other plan.
Yeah. And it's going to take years before you start to even feel like you're normal in your own body again. Because you're not going to bounce back like Rosie did. You're not going to be just gone. Like most women, your muscles elongate. Your pants might never fit again. And it has nothing to do with weight gain so much as your muscles and your hips have changed and shifted places. And that's normal. Like that's completely normal. All right?
Especially when they call them birthing hips.
Right. Like, that's a thing. Because why? Because your hips spread. Because you had to push out a baby.
Splay, too.
Yeah. Yeah. All
like
of those.
Your pelvis goes into a different conformation.
Yeah. Those tendons, they get longer. They stretch.
We are not doctors.
That's a thing. It is a thing.
But we know we can see it in our own little bodies.
Yeah. So, and you're not necessarily going to lose that weight quickly or immediately. I've never lost all the baby weight from my youngest son. When I lost my firstborn, it took me 2 years to get back to where I could wear at least the same size clothes that I wore before. It took 2 years.
Wow.
When I had my daughter, I gained 50 pounds.
Oh.
It took me a really long time to lose that weight.
Maybe this is what it is. Okay, so I only gained 13 pounds while I was pregnant.
That was the whole baby.
Yeah.
That was your baby and the placenta.
So that must be why. By the way, I had an abnormally large placenta, apparently.
Of course you did.
But I had a really big baby, so I don't know. But I only gained like 13 pounds, so that must be why. I remember them telling me 13 pounds.
That's crazy.
So that might be why. Because I feel like I looked the same as I did before I had a kid.
My mom, when she had my youngest sister, I don't think she gained any more than my sister's weight. Mm. Like, some women are really good and they can do that, right? All their food and extra protein and nutrients they take in go straight to the baby. And I think that's fantastic. But for the rest of us ladies,
normal humans,
that's not possible. And so
maybe I'm made to have babies.
There you go. Maybe you should pop out some more.
Oh,
you're just getting lonely. He's getting lonely.
He's a handful.
So it takes me a long time to lose the baby weight and to come back to where I was before. It took me just over a year to get back into my current size clothes. So, and that was with, I'm not going to say dieting. I don't believe in dieting, but I did move more. So I'm not going to say I exercise because the Lord knows.
You don't believe in dieting or you just don't diet? What do you mean?
I just don't. I like my cake. I'm going to eat my cake.
So you just don't. Because when you say I don't believe, I'm like, what does that mean?
So if I'm somewhere and I want cake, guess what I'm going to eat? I'm going to eat cake. But I might not eat anything else because I've had cake. I'm just very conscientious of, I had something to eat. I don't need to eat anything else. But if the option's there to eat cake or pie, a woman at work brought pie. And I ate 3 slices of pie because she said we all got 3 slices of pie because that's how much pie she brought. And I ate all 3 slices.
Amazing.
I'm that person. But
my little has been trying to eat donuts. And like when we go and get donuts, it's supposed to be a treat.
Yeah.
And he says, I want another donut. I said, no, we can't have another donut. He goes, yes, 3 donuts. It's a good deal. And I say, no, that's not a good deal. You can't have 3 donuts. You're 3 years old. He goes, 3. I have 3 donuts. I go, no, I'm not giving my 3-year-old 3 donuts. I feel like I'm going to do something wrong in life if I make that decision.
Oh, yes, you are.
Like, that sounds like a terrible idea.
First, he's going to be bouncing off the wall. And second, you have to deal with it.
I'm like, I feel like 2 donuts is probably too much anyway. Like,
I think 1 donut is more than enough.
Like, 3 donuts. Anyway,
Lord.
Sorry. You can tell how upset I am about this.
So, the end result is that you're not going to lose weight quickly. So it's okay. It takes time. Please do not be hard on yourself for that reason. But you should keep up your abdominal muscles. And it helps when you're pregnant if you do that before the baby comes. So Kegel exercises, they can help to avoid the possibility of prolapse. If you are active and work out before your pregnancy, that generally helps with your body coming back and bouncing back. I don't work out, so I don't know what that means.
A prolapse is where some of your internal section of like around your cervix is kind of coming out a little bit. Instead of being inside of you, it is kind of like hanging outside of you.
You know, when our cows would prolapse, we just push that shit back in.
It's just that it's common for us when we talk about livestock, so we know what prolapse is. But if you're a listener that doesn't know what that word is, that's kind of what it means.
Yeah, and you don't want that. That's a bad thing. Prolapse is bad.
Sometimes you can fix it if it's just a little bit, but other times you have to go have surgery.
Yes. And all it is they like re-stitch your lining back into your body so it doesn't try to come out your vagina again. That's all. I mean, and
I'm sure
sounds
someone
terrible.
Out there is like, oh no.
It sounds terrible, but it's really such a minor thing. But Kegel
most humans don't have it.
But Kegel exercises help. Like, you want to have a good, strong pelvic floor. And so you do your exercises where you pretend your body is an elevator and you're going to lift things from the bottom floor to the top floor by squeezing the muscles inside your vagina. Mm-hmm. And that's it. Like, that's all you do is practice squeezing those muscles, which also are really good for sex. But
it's also amazing for your urination issue after having babies.
So what they don't tell you after you have kids, you will pee yourself often.
Yes.
It's a thing. So I already have a small bladder, or I feel like I probably have an average bladder.
You definitely urinate probably 3 times more often than I do.
But I do.
Because we will hang
all
out,
the time.
and an entire day I will pee once, and then you will pee like 8 times.
I know. I can't help it. It's a thing. But when you have 3 kids, I feel like I can't hold it as long as maybe you could. I don't know. I don't know. We've never tested. We should test this theory.
Yes,
I can't hold it very long.
We're going to have to do a little research project.
It's a thing where you just physically can't. But they do say, based on research, that if you do your pelvic floor exercises, that they can help you.
And it will really help with leaking urine.
Yes. I also had lots of UTIs and urinary tract infections and stuff when I was pregnant. And so those did not help my situation, but I also had jobs where I couldn't get up to go pee when I needed to, and those also do not help you.
What's been hard on me is so some people, it's just like when you laugh or you cough or something, you might accidentally just tinkle just a little, just a little doop doop. And with my little, I've been potty training for far too long, and it's extraordinarily counterproductive when I accidentally pee myself. When I like bend over to take him to the potty, and then he goes, "Mommy, you pee yourself?" I did. Yep, I did. Thank you for pointing that out. I should have gone an hour ago instead. So this would not have happened. But when I bend over, I tend to accidentally pee just a little.
But it's a thing. So when I played roller derby back in the day, when there was a wet spot on the floor, you couldn't tell if it was sweat or if it was a mom that had just peed herself. So it was the thing. You could have got the piss knocked out of you, and we'd never know.
We never know.
We'd never know. Because you can't tell the difference. So, swelling is very common afterwards. Your whole downstairs is going to be very scary. Hence the ice packs.
And again, it's probably best just not look.
Don't look. Don't look. Don't look. Don't look. Ice it. Rest is very important. So make sure you take that time to rest. Hormone changes can cause hair loss. So if your hair starts falling out in clumps, just know that it's probably normal, but please talk to your doctor. Like, we don't ever want you to be like, well, you said it's normal, so I should. No, please talk to your doctor. Like, always, if there's ever a concern, tell your doctor, my hair is falling out in clumps, and I just feel like I'm going bald. You could be, but it could also be hormone changes that cause your hair to fall out after having a baby, because your hormones are, like, in constant state of flux after having a baby.
My hair is so thin compared to when you first met me.
I know. I was
like,
thinking that the other day.
My ponytail is only like maybe an inch wide. But before, I used to have thick hair. Mm-hmm. And I had to chop it all off because I just don't have that much hair anymore. And so it looked like a rat tail.
It looked very sad. It looks better now. Like, it looks much better now.
It's thickening up a little. But it's been 3 years.
But these are all, like, completely normal things. Vitamins do tend to help. I even take keratin supplements because they help with hair and nails. I already had weak nails, but having kids made it like 20 times worse. So I do use vitamins to still 3 years later supplement my body, because otherwise I think I wouldn't have any hair or any nails. And I'm really sad because I broke another nail today, and it just is like, anyways, I digress.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So another thing that happens when I bend over,
sure,
is interesting.
Sure,
conversation. Is I struggle to breathe more, and I'm curious: is there a thing that like my diaphragm is like weaker, and all my organs are going into my chest? Because I have to like come back up and like catch my breath if I like take too long tying my shoes.
So, because of how your body expands and changes to take in a baby, your organs completely like rearrange themselves. And so they might not always go exactly back to where they were before.
Because I feel like I literally have less lung capacity if I bend over.
It's a possibility. It's because you blame your damn kids.
It's so difficult for me to like pick up something off the floor. I said this at work actually to several very young people. I work with a lot of young humans. And so I say this, and then this other individual who has multiple kids goes, that's not a net thing for me. I go, well, it is for me. I can't breathe, and I need someone else to come pick this thing up off the floor for me.
But I think it's completely normal. I mean, your whole body completely changes to fit this tiny human inside of it. And some
or in
people's,
my case, a very giant human.
Some people's bodies have to adjust more, and I think your organs just don't go back to right where they were. They're a little displaced. And I don't think, like, since having kids, I feel like my ribs are different places than where they were before.
Mm.
But I don't know if that's true.
I don't know.
That's how I feel. Like, I feel like they don't sit the same way they used to.
Yeah.
So I'm completely on board with that synopsis.
Maybe it's also because we're getting older.
Shh. No, we don't talk about that.
We don't want to talk about that. It can't be that I'm winded from bending over because I'm older.
No,
it can't be that. It's got to be my kids' fault.
It's definitely the kids. So, on that note, will you pour me another glass of wine?
Oh, yes. I'm sorry.
I did some research on how your bodies can change postpartum. And this is from... I'll let her pour so it doesn't sound like we're peeing in the background.
We've been working on our kegels.
Yeah, we're kegling it back here while we talk to y'all. How's that sound? From thebump.com, how to love your postpartum body. Weight gain, bloating, and change in appetite are completely normal. Breast enlargement, tenderness, and nipple discharge, let's get the words right, are completely normal. Acne, stretch marks, and linea nigrera, which is that line that can develop on some women. I don't have that, but it develops usually from like your rib cage down to your pubic bone, that dark line that'll appear on your belly. Completely normal. Swelling in the legs, arms, and face can be completely normal. Now, there is such things as extremes where those are bad because of high blood pressure,
other disease processes.
Other things that are preeclampsia, those are bad. But for the most part, it's very common. Frequent urination and hemorrhoids are very common post-baby.